Okay, this is the quote for model 9-1500, serial number 32368. This is 9-1500. We weren't told what the problem was, but we definitely found out what some of the underlying issues are. First and foremost, the conductor ring was leaking a lot of water. The good news is that it's not being caused by the conductor ring itself. It was just simply the hose. So I already took that hose off and confirmed that there is just a new hose that needs to be installed there. Now the gears are really the main issue with this wellhead. You can see heavy pitting on the rotor itself. This rotor is definitely not only because of the oxidation that you have here, but from the heavy grinding on the teeth. All the teeth are pretty much messed up. Now, and you can see that right there, especially on those bottom teeth right there, they're all chewed up. The idler gears, same thing. You can see how bad the teeth are, and it's exactly the same like that on all the gears. So all the gears have to be replaced, even the main gear here. You can see how badly all the teeth have been chewed on. So definitely requires all the gears to be replaced. This is probably the best of all of them, but it's still worn out. Okay, now the guide ring needs to be replaced. It's definitely shot when you put the rotor in. It doesn't even sit down in there right, so you can't even spin it or do anything. And I confirmed this by the state of the conductor, the guide ring. The guide ring is in real bad shape. Now, if you look in here, you can see how probably a piece of tungsten or some debris that fell inside went in there, kind of did a number on the main housing. That's usually what happens when the gears get damaged. Something falls inside the wellhead and it starts tearing up all the gears. Same thing with the pinion gear that's in here. That's completely wore out. Now the push rod that's here seems to be fine. I don't see any problems with it right now. We're gonna go ahead and calibrate the wellhead so we can confirm the actual sound of the motor and rotation. So you can hear that issue right there. It definitely has to do with the planetary gears inside the motor. The wellhead will continue to run just fine. The only thing is that noise is going to continue to get a little bit louder as time goes on. So I'm probably not recommending a replacement of the motor or rebuild yet, because I think you can still get some life out of this motor, because in reality you're never going to be running it at this speed. More realistic speed that you're going to be running it is at this kind of speed. And when you're running it in slower motion, you really can't tell. So we're going to leave the motor the way it is right now. It does function. The tachometer is functioning. Okay, so we're good on the motor. Now, the ground strap is in really bad shape. We definitely have to change this one out, especially when you have this much silver already completely worn off. You're gonna definitely see a lot of bad starts on the power supply when you don't have good conductivity on the wellhead. Now, the clamps are in extremely bad shape, as you can see. Okay, so you can use them, but you're gonna have a lot of arc faults in the future when it starts arcing from the tungsten to the clamps. This one's in a little bit better shape, okay, but you definitely have a lot of pitting there from the corrosion. You can see here the clamps are completely worn out. They're not pressing down at all whatsoever. So the clamps are going to be quoted, and as an option I do have some new clamps that haven't been used really, but do have one small defect on one of the clamps. It's really more of a cosmetic issue, but you probably won't be able to tell. I'll offer that to help with the pricing, because obviously these clamps are not very cheap at all. We'll go ahead and replace the window at no charge, because obviously it's pretty badly worn out already. The heat shields, that can be cleaned out, that's no big deal. Oh well, there's some pitting on this one, so at least one has to be replaced. This other one, this one's still in good condition. The screws, all that, those other components seem to be just fine. So that wraps it up. Oh, and one more thing, let me see here on the cable side. Okay, this is heavily rusted in there already. It's really bad shape inside already. So this one, as you can see, it's getting stuck because there's so much rust in there already. So these two, this one is still seems to be fine. I don't think we have to, maybe just clean it up. This one's heavily rusted. Now the cables that are inside, I mean, by experience, I can tell you that this hose and the actual copper rope that goes inside is already done for. It needs to be replaced. Once I go ahead and if I get an approval to replace these hoses, I can take pictures and show you how badly freighted the copper rope inside is going to be. So that's definitely an item that needs to be replaced. And yeah, that completes the quote for serial number 39368, model 9-1500.